around feeling very sorry for people who we see hurting or very moved by things we see happening in the news. But very seldom does that actually translate into an action on our behalf. And for me, that's what sets kindness apart. It demands something of us, a reaction, an action, a motivation. Well, at the moment, what we're seeing, the most attractive, the most ratings popular shows are ones where there is a battle, which in philosophical terms is zero-sum. For somebody to win, somebody has to lose. Simon Cowell only gets to choose one out of two. For every winner, a loser, a conflict. For me, I wanted to see more things on TV where both people win. This is all back to the days when Henry Kissinger said, for a deal to be an actual deal. I find myself quoting Henry Kissinger, which is extraordinary, but he said both parties have to feel they've come away from the table with something in their hand. And obviously we don't see that on X Factor, but we do see it slightly on something like the Great British Bake Off, where just because one person wins, we also get to see along the way lots of comradeship, lots of sympathy for each other, lots of sharing. And that's the road I personally want to see TV and film go down.
So what kind of response have you had?
The people I've actually had the most engagement from in terms of celebrity world are the likes of Ricky Gervais and Steve Coogan. Now these aren't two names you immediately think, kindness. These men are people who put sarcasm and putting people down at the front of the agenda, both things they admit to. But I think that they're changing. Ricky Gervais has had enormous amounts of stick for Derek because of the characterisation. And I mean, that's one big argument that is just being picked apart by critics everywhere else. What I'm interested in is the fact that he chose, he could have done anything, could have done extras, could have done another series of The Office, could have just sat by the swimming pool and counted his millions, and instead he's made a TV series in an old people's home. It's almost unheard of, it's so boring, it's so exclusive, it's so out there on the edge of society, everything that we don't think is glamorous, and yet there he is, one of the most successful comics in the country doing something like that. Steve Coogan made Philomena about forgiveness. It's a wonderful thing to see on the screen, and it was very successful. This is a post-Susan Boyle era of reality TV, where she stepped up. So somebody from a small village in Dunblane, and we all remember that horrible girl with her eyes raised to the ceiling, and we watched Susan Boyle have the last laugh. And I think that did touch that part of us that I'm talking about, that thing, that balancing of society, just that little bit, just somebody who hasn't had an easy time of it getting a break. But this needn't be philosophical, this can be everyday stuff like saying thank you to a bus driver, just keeping people included. And I think increasingly we are seeing a hunger and an interest in that kind of TV and content.
Well, this is going to be a difficult thing to do, isn't it?
We know that nastiness is a great draw, but I'm just hoping that one day, if there are two dramas sitting on a commissioner's desk at the BBC or at Sky or at ITV, if there's a little trickle in between the two, everything else being even, and then there's just a voice in their ear that says, oh, culture of kindness, people like that stuff. Oh, maybe we'll go for that. Just that little seed being sown, then my work's done.